What's up, everybody? Welcome to another installment of Pan-Africanism Strikes Back. I just had to go ahead and make a video. I'm doing a little bit of shopping. I'm at the pharmacy. You know, it's winter time. Just got back from Chicago with the fam. Everybody's a little bit under the weather. It was very cold, but it was also a very amazing experience. But ADOS, man, it seems like this topic is something that we could talk about forever, but me personally, I just want to keep the pressure on them because, like I said, we striking back. I'm gonna say what maybe others don't want to say. I'm gonna keep the pressure on these clowns until pretty much they fold. This is. I consider the message that they're sending out about black people, the messages that they're sending out attacking our brothers from across the water, the messages that they're sending misrepresenting African unity and the unity of the diaspora and our desire to come together as a people. I consider that an act of all-out war, basically, and I'm not afraid to say that. So, because they operate on a political platform, Chairman Mao said that politics is war without bloodshed. So essentially, they've declared war on African people across the globe, right? They've declared war on our unity and basically operate under a banner of spreading disunity and blame and self-blame and self-hate, you know, throughout the ranks of our people. And it's just not going down without a fight. And I'm going to be on the front lines attacking that, period. So ADOS, they recently released on Tone Talks, on his channel, they released the highlights from their conferences. I assume that's from their conferences for 2019. I mean, typical stuff. All the Democrats shot them down, so they went and got a couple of bottom-feeding Democrats, a couple of people who have absolutely no chance of winning the presidential election, who basically tried to pander to what is essentially a non-existent demographic of black folks. They got them to come through, show their faces. A couple of no-name politicians come through, show their faces, say some kind words. They pulled out the old rank-and-file Negro white supremacy apologists, Cornel West, dudes who, you know, they're always going to talk a good game, but then when you look at their resume, you see that they're just basically Americanized black folks who want to get a crumb off of master's table. And many of them have been given a crumb, and so now they are operating as pacifists or pacifiers for black unity or revolution. They're just here to keep the Negroes from getting too upset so that we don't tear up none of these good white folk stuff, right? So they pulled out the typical stupid Sambo tactics. So I basically put together a few clips or highlights from their conference, which just shows the utter buffoonery and the utter futility of their cause and what they're going after. You're gonna see a clip where Antonio Moore, he's talking about how whites are to blame for Trump getting elected and blacks voted Democrat, etc., etc. So I don't know why he's trying to play the white versus black card when he's over here. He has a whole movement based on begging white people for things, but you're going to try to play this race card against white people. Like, okay, yeah, you're going to talk down on us, and for all your hard work, let's give you a check, right? He's going to stand up there looking like a super angry black man with his jacket unbuttoned and posturing. Like, man, I don't understand. I think this dude's a lawyer, but he comes across to me like a fool. But he's going to get up there and say what he wants to say about Trump and the demographics. He's going to talk about misinformation and terrible research. Then he's going to turn right back around and utilize the research from ABC News because they're so accurate and they're so honest. Then Yvette Carnell, she's going to get up and, you know, do this whole weird like Southern mammy type talk and posturing, yeah, this is the takeover and all this type of buffoonery. And one of the things I want you to pay attention to is I want you to pay attention to the audience. At about the 1 minute mark, they're gonna pan to the audience, and you're gonna see exactly who ADOS is. You're gonna see exactly the type of people that they are trying to appeal to. And they run this lie where they say this is a movement full of young blacks and millennials. That's a lie. This is not a movement full of millennials. This is a movement full of elderly people who lived during civil rights, who are still thinking along those lines, who still think that good old master gonna give you something. He gonna throw you some fat back. You know what I'm saying? Or he been giving you fat back all this time, so he gonna throw you a steak one of these days. These people with this mentality who grew up during the civil rights era, who still believe in that. That's why it's easy to see it's civil rights 2.0 and nothing actually revolutionary or new. You know, it's nothing that's fresh and new. I saw a lot of gray hair in that audience. I saw a lot of people look retired in that audience. And one of the key words in retired is tired, right? So you can stand up there and act tough and talk about politics of America, but just look at that audience. Pay attention to what these people are saying, and then I'm gonna have a little rebuttal on the end. And really just point out a few things that they're saying that make absolutely no sense, and where their hypocrisy and their double talk happens. Because in this movement, there's a lot of double talk, a lot of saying one thing, saying you're not going to do one thing, but then in the same breath saying that you are going to do that thing. You know, it's like saying, I'm not going to buy this feminine douche cleanser, but then, you know, it actually works really great, and I think I am going to purchase it. I'm not going to buy it, but I am going to purchase it. This is the kind of talk that they do. You know, it's like double talk, and it's a lot of tough talk, which leads me to really believe that these people are inserted into this situation. And these conferences are looking very light. A lot of empty seats. For all the momentum that you claim to have. And I'm starting to think this is just some type of sick scam. Next thing you know, they already selling shirts. Next thing you know, they're going to be talking about send some money into them. Right? So you guys watch. You be the judge. Let me know what you think about that video. I hope all the ADOS people come on here. You know, they're going to come, oh, ADOS. It's easy to throw out a slogan or a hashtag. Hashtags take over all the time. Who's doing the actual work? The Pan-Africanists are actually doing the work. You see me rocking the Ghana Research Tours, GhanaResearchTours.com. I'm rocking the shirt. I got my brothers Tyree and Titus Busby. They're over in Ghana right now working, building the bridge, connecting our people together. They over there, I think they got their citizenship over there. They handling business, you know what I'm saying? I got my Fit for Life hat. My other brother makes these, fitforlife.com. Go check that out. And you can, now that's the work. Those are the people putting in work. Those are the people creating an economic base for you, not begging for anything, going out, putting in the work to make money. If a man don't work, he don't eat. Let me know what you think on the end of this video.
White America gave us Trump. We did not. They voted for him and digested his message of making America great again. Black America did not. Edison research for ABC showed that 58% of whites voted for Trump, while only 8% of blacks voted for Trump. 88% of blacks voted for Hillary Clinton and the Democrats. Only 37% of whites voted for Hillary Clinton and the Democrats. White America gave us Donald Trump, and he has wreaked havoc on black American families.
What? If you don't do it, we're going to end up coming for you. If you don't want to work for us, this is Project Takeover. No. We have not only invited every candidate to the conference, as Antonio has said, and we went back and forth with one of them we went back and forth with all of them. We went back and forth with Elizabeth Warren's camp for a very long time. We have tried. And none of these candidates except for Marianne Williamson has decided that they're going to come to the table and even listen to us seriously on the issue of reparations and a black agenda. And so people have been asking me and Antonio, what are you going to do? I bet they just go the way of the Democrats and they just going to talk for a long time and ain't going to do nothing. Well, we have decided that if Democrats do not come around to what we need them to come around, we have to stand on our square. And we have said in no uncertain terms that politics is an exchange. It's not a gift. So what that means, we're not just going to stay at home. What that means is that we have decided that we're voting down ballot.
Democratic.
We got a lot of Democrats that need our help, whether it's your local city councilman, local state lawmaker, local dog catcher, whatever. They need you to come out and vote. But we're not voting for these national Democrats if they're not going to give us our due. They still got time. They can still come around.
I mean, in her own words, it doesn't get any more buffoonish than what you heard right here. Basically, you have Yvette Carnell and her sidekick, Antonio Moore, admitting that they went and tried to negotiate with several Democratic leaders or higher-ups in the Democratic Party. And basically, those Democratic leaders said, we're not messing with ADOS. We're not going to sit down and discuss reparations for black people in America with you. We're not going to come to your conference. We're not going to come and sit up with you and entertain the idea of reparations. Also, you have people like Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, and other Democratic candidates going on the record on national television telling you that they are not going to do anything in the line of reparations for blacks. So what do? You stand on stage, you talk tough, you put on your little Southern mammy accent, and you essentially say that, well, since the Democrats don't want to work with us, since the higher Democrats aren't going to work with us, what we've decided to do to punish the Democrats for not working with us is, dun 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 dun, vote Democrat. And then they use clever wording and clever language. Oh, we're going to go down ballot. I've never even heard that term before. Maybe you have. But down ballot. And with down ballot, what they really mean is we're still going to vote Democrat, which is what Antonio Moore made sure he injected into the middle of her little speech. We're still going to vote Democrat. We're just not going to vote for the president. We're not going to vote at all. We're going to just vote Democrat still, but on lesser issues and for smaller races. But what are you going to do for the presidency? You're just not going to vote at all. So what is that going to do? Essentially, you're saying, well, you guys kicked us in the balls, basically, and in order to show you we mean business, we're still going to support you. We're still going to support you, just not in this one race, but in every other race. And the thing she says is, yeah, because there's plenty of other Democrats who need our help. But the Democrats don't want to work with you. If the upper big time Democrats aren't working with you, then what makes you think that they aren't supported by the lower level Democrats? That's like a parent says, my kid can't, the parent says, I don't want to buy any of your stupid chocolate bars. Okay, so we're not going to go to that parent anymore. We're just going to go try to go to their kids. Well, the money the kids have comes from the parent. So the power that the lower Democrats have essentially comes from the higher up Democrats. Those are the ones who trickle down funds and trickle down support and send organizers to different cities and states to help those lower level Democrats get elected. So essentially what you said was, what you're going to keep doing is you're going to keep doing exactly what you claimed that you're fighting against. You're going to keep on being a shoo-in for the Democratic Party, a loyal Democratic Party slave on the Democratic plantation, even though they've told you that they're not trying to work with you on what your agenda is. ADOS movement is a lost cause. You don't have any real leadership. You don't have anyone who's willing to really stick it to these parties. You don't have anyone who's going to say, well, damn it, we ain't going to support Democrats, period. If you don't want to help us talk about realistic legislation concerning reparations for black folks. Out of Yvette Carnell's own mouth, she says this. She's going to they're going to kick you, and you're going to get up, and you're going to shine their boots, which is essentially what you're doing. You going down ballot, all right. You going down for sure. You going right down there to kiss Massa Boots after he done slapped you up in the face, telling you he ain't going to help you. If a person can't see that this is nothing but a bunch of double talk and talking in circles and posturing, I mean, for God's sakes, they brought up Cornel West. And this guy gets to doing the old preacher rhyming, and all this stuff. Antonio Moore said, oh, white people gave us Donald Trump. 88% of black people voted for the Democratic Party, right? Guess what? Those white people gave you Donald Trump, and you voted for the Democratic Party. Then you went to the Democratic Party and expressed what you felt you needed and wanted, and they shot you down with impunity. And what did you do? You left the Democratic Party? Nope. You stayed on board. You stayed on the plantation. And now you're continuing to help and aid the very party that just shitted on you. Tell me how that's called progress. Tell me in what language does that spell progress? In what language does that spell change? That's the same thing black people have been doing for decades. You're not doing anything different. Just a new face, two new faces in a room with barely anybody in it, with a bunch of old folks in it. Somebody told me that ADOS movement was a bunch of young people. Well, when I'm looking at that conference, all I see is a bunch of old civil rights era Negroes. Old, all over 50. I didn't see one young person in the crowd. Maybe I'll watch it another time, 2 more times, and see if I see somebody. ADOS is done. Dead on arrival, DOA.